Hi, Black Friday, special offers. Contrary to rumors, pandas do not assemble the printers. Let's just print stuff. Yep, it's Black Friday. We got a ton of discounts going, so it's time to stock up on materials or get that printer that you've been hankering after. But to be frank, guys, if you are a regular watcher of this channel, according to YouTube analytics, you apparently like the videos where we do stuff, where we get down and dirty with printing. So today, there are no printer reviews, there is no printer news. We're just going to do what any of you would, and we're going to print stuff, except we're going to talk about the cost saving that you have gotten because of Black Friday. So no crap, no deductions. We're just going to talk about how much you can save with these projects. So if you're a regular, well, you might like this. And if you're not a regular, if you're new to the channel, well, welcome to 3D Jake, where we print lots of crazy crap. So I've been looking at a few things to print something our viewers might enjoy, because you guys are a motley bunch. Makers are a motley crowd. Some are into cosplay. Some are respectable members of society. You never know what you're going to get with a maker. But the one thing that connects us all is we love making things ourselves. That's what makers do. And that's what I love about 3D printing, and I bet that's why you love 3D printing too. Okay, so for those of you who are into something cosplayish or prop-ish, maybe, for those of you who are prop makers, we got Stormbreaker. At over a meter long, this might be intimidating for those of you who have not printed something so huge before. But don't let the size fool you, because this is an easy project thanks to the great design of Fluorisator.
This kind of project is one that will save you the most. Getting something like this in a store is actually ridiculously expensive.
The tallest part is 241 millimeters tall, and the widest is 280 millimeters. So totally possible to print on your standard size printer. But if you have a mini printer, then you can still do this thanks to the wonders of the cut tool. But if you think that looks like a lot of filament, you're right, it's a lot of filament. In total, with 3 walls, 5 top layers, 3 bottom layers, 10% infill, and 3 supports, the hammer blade was 187 grams, the hammer back was 276 grams, the plate was 72 grams, the pins were 2 grams, the middle part of the hammer was 162 grams, one part of the handle was 166 grams, the next handle was 118 grams, the next was 117 grams, the next was 106 grams, the next was 98 grams, and the last part was 59 grams, which comes to a total of 1,362 grams. Now, if you're printing that out of, say, our own Eco PLA, well, a little while ago, that cost €19.99. That would make filament costs of €27.22 for everything here, which is still a fraction of what it would cost to buy something like that in a shop. But with our 30% discount, that comes down to €19. And while I do like our own range of filament, that is not the cheapest filament that you can get in the shop. That honor goes to Elegoo PLA, which with the 20% Black Friday discount is a mouth-watering €10.39. So printing this out of Elegoo PLA would make material costs of €14.15. So clearly we're gluing this all together. Filament is not going to be your only cost, and the obvious go-to adhesive for this would be something like superglue. But you could also use an epoxy, because superglue is not the most economical of adhesives. Consider it, superglue can cost you maybe around €5 for a little bottle, which is maybe 20 grams. Epoxy, on the other hand, can cost around €15 for 200 grams. If you need to fill things together, you can also choose one of our fillers, such as this Presto plastic filler. You can also use this as your adhesive, by the way, but I would only recommend it for parts with large surface area for the contact areas. Next up is paint, and we have tons of paint in the shop for brushing, airbrushing, and spraying. We are using the Army Painter and Revel paints for this, and the results, well, check it out. think this is one of the biggest things that we've printed. I think the biggest thing was the Ender Z vase, or maybe the Elegoo Orange Storm. Well, that was also a vase. We love our long vases. No, but this is the biggest prop for sure that we've ever printed. In my haste, when I was putting this together, I completely forgot about these little scraggly bits. And they're the ones that needed the most primer. And I actually forgot about that, which is unfortunate. I was just very excited about getting the recesses painted in the axe blade, but it came out nicely. Yeah, I can't wait to put that up on the pegboard. Incidentally, the first part of this was orange, and when I was painting it and kind of rubbing off the paint to get a more kind of textured effect, it had like a very kind of the color that birch has when you expose the bark of it. I just thought was really cool. And if I was ever doing something out of wood, I might just print it all out of orange to just get that color. It looked really nice. Okay, next up is for the homemaker. Not the homemaker, but the maker who does stuff for their home. You know what I mean. This is the beautiful Lumea mood lamp found on Makerworld. Props to Mike.stl for the fantastic design and the variations in which this can be used, because this is suitable for the Bambu maker kits like the RGBW, puck lights or lamp kit, which you can get in our shop. But it is also suitable for a standard E14 bulb, which is what we're using today. The important thing here is which filament you use, and for a few reasons. Because we are using an E14 bulb, it is 4.3 watts, and even with 4.3 watts, this can get kind of warm. And that's not great with PLA, because even if it gets moderately warm, it can warp a bit. And with this is technically a load-bearing part. That's not good if you warp that. So normal usage would be something like PETG, which will not warp under heat. Other reason is, yes, PLA can be translucent when using vase mode or very thin layers. Emphasis on can. Some are just very opaque. PCTG, however, not so opaque, and PCTG even less opaque. However, if the situation presents itself, our sparkling PLA can be wonderfully translucent in vase mode.
Let's talk about price, and for our own brand PLA and PETG or PCTG, printing the base and top with similar settings to what we used for the hammer, that comes to 201 grams of PLA. For the core, with our PETG or PCTG, that's about 26 grams. Overall filament cost is €4.63 for PETG, and for PCTG that is €4.77. But with Black Friday discounts, PLA cost is €2.81 and the PETG is 45 cents. Paint and filler are of course optional, but it does make it look pretty nice.
Now for the workshop kind of maker. These are awesome. This is the Hex Wall, and I have one at home because it's my favorite. There are others, sure, but I love this one the most. When I first printed these, I printed them one at a time, like a chunk, because what you can do is you can stack these, and there are various ways to do this, but what we're going to do is use PETG as a sort of interface layer between each plate. PETG sticks to PLA a little bit. It's just enough to work as a support material, but not enough to bond permanently to it. And if you have something like an AMS, it's even easier to set up the filament change, and even easier and more reliable when you have a tool changer printer. If you're doing it with an AMS type device, it is better to just print the interfaces out of PETG rather than the whole support structure. For us though, we're just printing the last layer of each plate as PETG, and it is important to print this slower than the PLA part just to make sure that it sticks well enough.
Alright, here we go. The A1 is at it, and with the AMS light it is switching automatically to our PETG, and it doesn't look very good at all. Not at all, no. So this is definitely my fault. Our PETG doesn't want to stick to our matte PLA very well. So I'm just going to pump up the temperature here. Okay, that's better. Still slightly pessimistic about it, but let's see. Okay, this came out quite well actually. The PETG is beautifully sandwiched between the two honeycomb plates, and you can do this with as many plates as you want. Taking it off though is very, very satisfying. Okay, now to mount. The plate uses these plug-in connectors to mount to the wall, and the two-part ones to connect each plate. You just need to shove them in. And while we're at it, let's go full DIY and use these printable wall plugs. We've printed these out of PETG, and for something light to medium weight, they'll more than suffice. Time to mount. This came out great. My multimeters and thermocouple have just been hanging around for ages. They really needed a home. This is, yes, a cost saver, but what is more valuable is the versatility. You can edit the design to make it fit anywhere. There's no way I could have put a SCADIS in this little corner. I love 3D printing for just this. It's not just a hobby for me, it's a way to make something the way I want it to be and still save money and save a trip to the shop. 3D printing is such a wonderfully versatile and powerful tool to have, and I really can't imagine my life without it.
Thanks for checking out our video, guys. Remember, the Black Friday sale is in full swing on our website, so go over there and check out all of the discounts you can get. Remember, it's not just filament, it is great discounts on printers, accessories, upgrades, and resin as well. You can also hop over to our Discord server. Me and other staff members are there, as well as, of course, the rest of the community. So from us, enjoy Black Friday. We'll see you next time. Later.